I'm John Robeson. I'm here in the Robeson Service Shops with Austin Hatch, and we're looking at an early V8 Silver Cloud. This is what we call the Murray job, and just going to show some of what we've been doing on this car last few months. We started with our work inside the vehicle. Austin can show us some of that.
Yeah, we had the driver's window over here, was going up, and it would jump all of a sudden. We found that the chain had fallen off the tensioner. We were able to repair that easily. We also
got all the other windows working too,
yep,
right?
We
They're
had
all
to
good.
lubricate the rear window, which is still a little slow, but we improved the speed by a lot. Then we found that the amp meter up here was completely abandoned. We're not sure why. We eventually found that it was shorting out to ground, so we bought a rebuilt unit. We also found that the oil meter wasn't working, so we also bought a new unit there as well.
And those work now.
They are now functioning appropriately.
So we got fully functioning gauges, and our lights, our windows, all that is all working. So we'll move up to the front. When you open the hood on these older Clouds, I'll show you first, there's this wire. See, that lifts the air filter for service access. Here you can see the wiper motor. And you can see that blue and red is modern wire that's replacing some of the wires in the harness. If we were working on that car, I'd like for that wire to be the old style stuff, so it's not such an obvious repair, but certainly it's functional. Here's the washer tank. Those are still in production if we need them. This car has been updated with a 1970s era internal regulator GM alternator, a pretty common conversion that works a lot better than the original. There's your power steering, your oil fill. And here we can see some hoses. That's one of the things Austin worked on. We'll step around. Also, you can see the belts. We did belts on this car. I'll step around here and Austin can return to what we've done.
Yeah, another upgrade this has is the AC unit was installed. So these are custom lines. We found that this line here is leaking when you move it just right. So we're going to cut that out and crimp in new connectors.
And hopefully the rubber is going to be good. The rubber doesn't look so old that it won't withstand that, but this could turn into a bigger job if the rubber's broken down and we have to replace more of it.
Yeah. We also replaced the distributor cap, rotor, wires. We did the spark plugs as well.
We'll set the carburetors up, get it running well.
Yep, we adjusted the carbs. We also did all of the coolant hoses. Upper hose, we did the thermostat, gasket, all of the hoses.
And spark plugs, you can't even see the spark plugs, but the plugs are accessed when the car's up in the air through the wheel openings.
Yeah, you gotta go through the wheel well. A part of the brake system included new caps for the reservoirs. The old caps did not seal. The new caps have nice new seals on them.
Yep.
We also did the hoses down here on the brake reservoirs as well.
And an interesting point on these hoses is that, we can hit them there. See where it has that writing that signifies that those are special hoses that are meant for brake fluid. If you go to the auto parts store and you just buy fuel hose off the shelf, the brake fluid will dissolve it and you'll end up with fluid weeping through the hose and it'll make a mess of your brake system. So you have to use those special brake fluid rated hose.
And currently we're trying to figure out a problem with the HVAC system, the heating. We weren't getting the blower motor to operate yet, and we're also having an issue with the water valves opening. They're certain all of the water valves are opening yet. So
we're getting to the end of the service on this car, and spring is coming. We should have it ready in good time. But there is, with the air conditioning and the heat, there's still a bit more to do. But this car is now a running and driving car, and it's probably the tightest and smoothest this car has driven in decades. You can take it out in the parking lot. You can lock up the brakes with the powerful servo and cylinders. You can take it on the highway, and the steering is tight. You can steer it back and forth, and it's responsive. So this kind of work, it just makes such a huge difference in how these old cars drive. It's really, really important, and I think Austin and I and all of us were really, really proud to be carrying this tradition on. And I'd also like to just point out here that this car is Not twice Austin's age, but it's considerably older, and people wonder who's going to take care of these cars for the future. And I hope that it's in places like ours where we have older folks like me, and we have younger folks like Austin, and we have people at all ages in between, so we can keep these things going.